The key thing that we're paying attention right now is about dialogue. And some of you, I'm curious, how many of you are in the camp right now where you're like, well, I don't really have any food. I don't really have food dialogue. I don't really talk to myself about food. Is anybody in that camp? Okay, so, all right. So here's what I want to put to you. I want to put to you that the conversations that we have in the darker, and I don't mean darker in terms of negative, I just mean in the quieter parts of our mind, those conversations are often so quiet that we simply can't hear them. But they are going on. They are going on. Like, Jay, let me ask you a question. Are there any foods that from time to time you've kind of felt like, wow, maybe I shouldn't eat this, or maybe I just shouldn't eat as much of it as I do, or maybe I just shouldn't eat it this time? Are there any times that you have that feeling? Okay, do you ever have that where you go, I'm going to buy this, and you buy something and you think, well, maybe shouldn't, or what I'm looking for is, are there any times when you are when there's a food item or a food habit where you're looking and going, I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to go ahead? Of course, because and remember, we have people that come into this program from all different starting points. Like some people are doing that on a minute by minute basis, and some people are doing it once a month. But it's those moments when there is a food dialogue. And one of the ways to find it is to actually say something to yourself out loud about it. And so one of the questions I have, and AJ, I'm curious, are you naturally really disciplined about food in the sense that you eat really well most of the time? Or is there any part of you that's using willpower? Like, yeah, I really would eat more of that, but I just want to be good. And so there's where we're talking about attempts to influence you. For example, don't laugh at him, guys. That's not very nice. When starts to be an influence, then you might be having one of two different dialogues. The one is the dialogue you have with her, where she's like, "Oh, come on, it's been so good. This is one time. We're at the movies, have the popcorn, whatever." But so you might be having the conversation with her. But then I think it's also interesting to pay attention that there is a conversation happening within yourself. Because if there's any doubt, like for example, if Elise came along and said, "Oh, come on, Eric, just have one Coke," right? There'd be no conversation, because the conversation would be, "No, and what did you do with my wife?" There wouldn't be a possibility of a conversation. But I'll tell you that sometimes if she decides she wants to have popcorn, then there ends up being a dialogue. I don't really like popcorn. I don't think it's good for me. But the smell is there, the salt is there, and the craving kicks in. And so now a dialogue has to happen, whereas with Coke, it doesn't. Does that make sense? So that's where I want you to pay attention to where those dialogues are.